Welcome, everyone, and happy March Madness Eve. My name is Dan Gordon. I'm the SVP of Solutions Engineering at Redwood Logistics, and I am overjoyed to be here with one of the industry's foremost thought leaders, one of my favorite people, and also, one of Oracle's senior leaders in the supply chain space. We have Eric Domski. We're here to talk about industrial manufacturing, the technology hurdles, as well as the general challenges that space is facing. So, Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe just to throw in like some of your favorite types of projects that you've gotten to work on.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the intro, Dan. Looking forward to this quick LinkedIn Live. So I've been in supply chain for a long time, as you can tell by the gray hair, over 30 years, and in many different forms. I went through the other month. I've actually looked at the Fortune 100 of manufacturers, and I've actually had over those 30 years individual engagements with every single one of those Fortune 100 manufacturers in one way, shape, or form, looking at their strategy, looking at their network, looking at their technology, and trying to apply value to those. So as far as projects, at this point, really looking at transformational projects, digitizing their supply chain, looking at making sure it's extremely value driven, and then driving a roadmap to that complete transformation. And the best projects are always a collaboration between ourselves, the customer, and partners like yourself to really get things done, keep things on track, and then drive to that value prop at the very end.
Yeah, thanks so much, Eric. For myself, I've been in the space for just under 20 years, so I'm just a baby in
You're a
this
pup.
industry. Yeah, still wet behind the ears. But I worked in an operations and consulting technology role. I've kind of run the gamut. But I've gotten the opportunity to work in the manufacturing space with companies, like yourself in the Fortune 100, but also some of the small mom and pops and really everything in between. And for me, working with manufacturers is the most interesting part of my job. You get to see how the products are made. Really, in fact, like if I look at it, probably the most interesting company I've ever consulted for just made simple rubber gaskets, which was amazing to me because the product might be very boring in itself, but the process behind it made me just about blow a gasket. So, Eric, other than that terrible joke in itself, what are some other things that you think might be keeping manufacturers up at night? And how do you think that's changed over the last 3 or 4 years?
Well, I hate to say it, in 30 years, as much change as there hasn't been a lot of change, right? It's all about visibility. It's all about some other things that have come up recently around sustainability. Risk has been an overarching theme, managing supply chain risk, especially coming off of COVID. And we're a number of years away from that now, but people are still diversifying their sourcing, both from the number of suppliers as well as regionalization based upon supply chain risk, supply chain analysis, increased regulations, right? Sustainability, challenges around transportation, capacity, and quite honestly, visibility at all times. And as I mentioned even earlier, the big focus that I have with most COOs and CIOs is how do they digitize their organization? How do they create a digital supply chain? And quite frankly, what does that mean? And the definition of that for every single company is a little bit differently. From one CIO, their definition of digitizing their supply chain meant getting everyone off spreadsheets so that everyone's online and they had real-time visibility exactly what was going on from an end-to-end standpoint. But again, that's one CIO's definition. Everyone has really their own definition, and more importantly, divining a roadmap as to where they start and to where that ends, and well, actually, where's the continuous improvement continue to evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Microsoft Excel, the most popular TMS in the world.
That's
Um,
right.
if we look at what that means in terms of moving from something like Excel into the a more digital supply chain, what I'm also seeing is a big focus on resiliency. That the challenge there of early detection of black swan events, getting to predictive analytics, as well as the challenge of the agility, where now you need new partners, new fulfillment models. You need to be able to shift geographies. And that, with that, it's kind of the scale behind it and being able to evolve as a company. And that's where we hear a lot about artificial intelligence. Being able to start adopting new technologies as they're coming to the forefront without needing to totally revamp your entire technology network. And so, that it's the new tech, it's also new service lines, moving towards service-based manufacturing, enabling new revenue streams. The last thing I would say, for the conversation overall is visibility. This has been a hot topic for many years now, but what I'm really seeing is the conversation has shifted a lot from where's my truck to where is my individual item within a specific case. Is it on a forklift at this point? Where is it at in terms of the exact geolocation at any point in time? And how do I employ my AI models to start improving that visibility and some of the proactive planning? So with that in mind, I mean, your experience with Oracle, what is Oracle doing to address some of those challenges we're talking about?
Well, quite frankly, we started on that journey probably 10 years ago, developing our cloud-based solutions, true cloud-based solutions, really re-architecting that from the ground up, leveraging all of the good technology and capabilities we had in our other various platforms, whether it was JD Edwards, PeopleSoft, EBS, and many of the other acquisitions we had in the past. But really, when you take a look at all those acquisitions, we went from many to one, on a common Fusion platform on a cloud, where today I can say we have over 4,000 supply chain customers, and every single one of those customers are on the same version of the software because it gets updated on a quarterly basis. But in doing that, we're able to remodel and re-architect our solution to really focus in on what does the modern supply chain model look like, with a huge emphasis on usability. I mean, today people use an application and they look at it. It has to be transparent. It has to be intuitive. That's the expectation for today's crowd of users. But also, when I talk about transformation, it's connecting business processes. Whether you're talking about processes from innovation to commercialization to planning and then maintenance, that full circle of product maturity, integrated business planning from the top row of executives for budgeting and planning all the way down to operations and making sure that works in a 360-degree process. We talk about connected logistics focused in on time in full with complete visibility and adaptability. And then, we wrap all of that around what we call a supply chain command center. And as you mentioned, Dan, it's detect as early as possible, anticipate even before you detect it, decide, and then at the end of the day, execute. So really, when you take a look at it, we've been able to re-architect our entire cloud solution and come up with a common platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that in mind, in terms of enablement, you're really, and that's what Oracle is doing for these manufacturers out in the market. Redwood has a deep relationship with Oracle and has been there to support these implementations, as well as a lot of the other needs of some of those customers. Where are you seeing some of the value of that combined solution?
Well, I describe it as small s compared to capital S. Small s is the solution. Capital S is the complete solution, where you're wrapping in not only the software or the SaaS solution, but also the implementation service. But more so, what I think Redwood is unique in is the 4PL capabilities that you provide, whether you're talking the classic 4PL model, adding in brokerage, parcel, assets and warehousing, and then some of your other unique technology capabilities around Redwood Connect. That's where we see, yourselves, quite honestly, completely complementing our SaaS solutions with the complete solution for customers, and really make it a one-stop shop between the two of us for various customers.
Yeah, being able to really supplement and being able to take a modern 4PL model and start creating some holistic solutions. It's part of the success of the relationship that our companies have had. And then really at the end of the day, what we're talking about is enablement through a connected ecosystem, taking taking data and taking best-in-class technology, tying those together through platforms like Redwood Connect, and then being able to really empathize with the manufacturer problem statements. So with all that in mind, just want to leave our audience with one thing: is we're going to drop a link into the comment section here. It'll bring you to a landing page. Both Eric and myself would love to talk to you at length. This is truly one of our favorite topics to dive into, and we really look forward to hearing from you. Eric, anything to cap us off on March Madness Eve?
Yeah, I was going to say, anyone who's joining, we appreciate you taking 10 minutes away from the first day of March Madness. We look forward to working with you, and really believe we have a differentiated capital S solution, I think, between Redwood Logistics and Oracle.
Thanks so much, Eric.
All right, take care.